Hey there, welcome to my channel where I take you on tours of tiny and unique homes. In today's video, we're traveling to Tennessee to meet one couple who downsized into a tiny house after finding it for sale on Facebook Marketplace. Sarah and Keenan are going to talk about how they transformed the space using their own personal touches and how the tiny home has given them the opportunity and freedom to pursue their passions. If you like videos like this where we showcase alternative lifestyles, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell because we publish a new video every single week.
Will you join me? Will you roll? Make this house our tiny home.
Hi, I'm Sarah. This is Otis.
And I'm Keenan, and this is our tiny home, the Cosmic Moon House.
We'd been talking about moving in together. We'd looked at a couple of houses, happened to just be browsing Facebook one day, and I think we were looking at Airstreams and the tiny house popped up. Maybe that this is like something worth looking into. I think the open concept made it feel less like we were truly downsizing and just moving into a different layout of a home. I'd never purchased anything from Facebook Marketplace, and I figured, why the hell not? Let's buy a house off of it.
Yeah.
I think we were just in such high stress situations for so long, and coming here and really just creating a home and putting together all of these pieces, we found so much just peace and happiness.
Here we are checking out the outside of the Cosmic Moon House. She's a decent size. It's 8 by 32, the dimensions, and about 10.5 feet tall, 364 square feet. This is a floating deck, meaning it's sitting on the ground. It's not cemented into the ground. Sometimes we'll sit out here and have breakfast, a cup of coffee. It was our understanding that they used a spray foam insulation in the walls, and I think that's probably pretty common now with tiny homes. In the summers, AC's trapped in pretty well, and in the winters, we have no problem with heat. It definitely hasn't had any issues so far. I think as far as metal roofs go, I imagine that's used because it's harder to get holes put in it, easier to maintain. Each one of our garden beds has a cosmological theme to it. Lots of moons, stars, things like that, because we're really into that stuff. This is the half moon bed, and I guess if you were to see this from an aerial position, you would see that it looks like a half moon. Sarah did most of the garden beds here by herself. Tons of gorgeous wildflowers, all kinds of flowers in here. This, I just call it the utility cabinet. We have the tankless water heater because it doesn't actually hold water in it. It just passes water through it from our water line. The propane tank is a 9-gallon, 40-pound tank. It usually lasts us a good at least month and a half, if not 2 months. We've actually made it stretch to 2.5. As far as tools and stuff, the storage in this is pretty great. Most of the tools that we need for either daily activities or like certain projects. So I like having certain things on hand. Just a good old handsaw at your disposal and a power drill. All right, so why don't we go to the back now and check out what we have back there. Welcome to the back deck. We have 2 decks. That was kind of the way we designed it when we first had a tiny home in mind out here. And the main thing about it was we wanted an extension of kind of the living room, knowing that that's often hard to ask for with a tiny home. It's wet and cold today, but we've had many parties and gatherings out here. A lot of the decorating back here was Sarah's doing. She really wanted to have string lights kind of all over the place and yeah, just have that kind of cozy lounging kind of feel.
Welcome to the Cosmic Moon Home. The original listing had the home completely clear. We could pretty much just see that it was an open concept, that it had a full kitchen, a lot of natural light, a blank canvas for us to just really make our own, bring color and our personality in with like artwork and textiles. So the kitchen is probably my favorite area in the house. I love that even in this tiny space, we have a full working kitchen. We have this beautiful farmhouse sink, so much counter space, butcher block countertops, a full gas range. It doesn't hurt that we have a full-size refrigerator, so we can keep everything we like. We don't live very close to a grocery store. The tiny home came with all of these wonderful appliances, which were fantastic. However, as the secondary owners of the tiny home, we weren't really familiar with the products. While we used the stove for the first year or so, eventually it developed an issue, and other than taking it apart, we realized it's glued to the countertop. So we have not been able to resolve that issue. Right now, we're mostly using a toaster oven. It serves its purpose and it saves us on propane. Those appliances, we've maintained keeping them kind of hidden since they're not as aesthetically pleasing. We store those under the countertop here. We like to purchase plants that are very low maintenance because it's kind of hard to determine how much light they're gonna get on any given day. And also depending on who can reach it to water it very easily. So we have a few real plants, a couple of dried florals. I love foraging, being outside and bringing stuff in. The original owners had a cat, and when they designed this house, they basically built a cat door. When we purchased it, we kept it for a little while thinking Otis may want to use it, but he likes being right next to us. So we quickly realized that we wanted to take the door off and utilize this space for storage. We have a lot of storage underneath the steps, which is pretty common in most tiny homes these days. We also have like a giant storage system under here, which we've used as a pantry. All right, now let's go check out the bathroom. When we first purchased the house, it came with a compostable toilet. We were keen on keeping that, but after doing a little bit of research, we realized that we didn't have the capabilities to dispose of everything. And while we live on a pretty expansive property, we do get our water off of a spring box. We didn't want to risk any kind of contamination or issues with that. So we replaced the compostable toilet just with a regular toilet that's hooked up to septic. But because we're on a spring box and we do share water with another household on the property, there are plenty of times where the water pressure is as if you're showering in your sink. So it's always interesting.
My mom has owned this property out here in Prim Springs, so I've had a long history with growing up on this property. Where this home is sitting is exactly where, in her last days, my grandmother's trailer home was parked. The significance of that and the evolution of that, it's so meaningful to me, giving the space new life.
We have power hookups, we have everything we need. So we were very fortunate to already have land to put it on, which helped tremendously. So the shower is a full-size shower. That's kind of all that we have to say about the shower, I think. All right, now let's go check out the office. We converted this space right after we moved in and took it from just like an empty shell and converted it into half office, half closet. The original owners had a young toddler and they had used this space as a nursery and a washer and dryer unit. We created this custom closet that just is enough space for us to hang a few things seasonally and then store everything else underneath. So we have our shoes at the bottom. The office space, we kind of both work in this area. I'll spend a lot of time editing. Sometimes Keenan will come in to record music in here. It's a great nook that we can close the door to keep ourselves from distractions. And it basically just holds a lot of our favorite things, more little prints that we love. So my great uncle was a photographer, and one of my aunts gifted me a bunch of his old film cameras. So they're not necessarily all in great working order right now, but I love to have them around as decoration and just a little piece of where I come from and what I do. This is the living room. It's definitely the area that we spend the majority of our time in. We love decompressing after a long day. We live in a perpetual state of coziness, and this is the perfect area for it. Very peaceful little corner of the house. We became huge cinephiles during the pandemic. Keenan actually started a virtual movie club, and so every single night we would watch a different movie with our friends and keep in touch that way, and we just fell in love with so much film, and yeah, so it's just become a fun little ritual for us. Cosmic Moon House kind of came about because the moon is a very significant thing to Keenan and myself. We moved in on a blue moon. We have a lot of significant memories that involve the moon, and something about it just kind of stuck, and yeah, we love it. This is another one of our favorite areas in the house where we spend a lot of time. We've utilized this space by kind of creating like an extra area to just kind of sit and be, along with a place to sleep and rest. The loft itself is about 12 feet long, which is perfect for a full queen size bed, a little spot to get ready, and then just little things that we enjoy. I love to shoot film, and that's one of my everyday cameras, and so I found that if I keep it nearby, I'll actually use it more often. This little shelf houses mainly a collection of books. Most of them are Keenan's, some of those are mine as well, but a lot of his favorite trinkets that he's collected over the years. We're both very sentimental people, and so we love to hold on to just little things that mean something to us, like concert tickets and cards. So when we first moved in, we actually had the bed positioned back in this corner, horizontal, and we kept it that way for 3 or 4 months, but then realized that we were struggling to sit up in bed, and so we finally switched the bed around and realized that opened up so much space on each side so that we could each have like our own separate side filled with books, journals, and other little things that just make us happy. Otis sleeps with us, and we basically start every morning with just like a 3 deep cuddle where he is right in between us, and there's just no better way to start the day.
Tennessee doesn't know what to do with a loan as far as tiny homes go. We went to bank after bank trying to figure out how to get a loan, and they just couldn't give us one because they didn't understand what to process as far as the value goes.
My mom happened to sell her home, and it came down to if she would be willing to basically finance this for us and allow us to pay her. It would truly give us this opportunity to build towards like financial freedom.
Goes without saying, but sometimes when people are able to minimize what they have in their lives, it brings about a sense of clarity. I certainly have felt that here.
Getting the time to put all these pieces together and just create the kind of environment we want to be in, it's been a really beautiful thing, and it's just given us so much peace and rejuvenation of inspiration.
Thanks for watching this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you soon with another unique home tour.